Remember who I said sees your stop losses? The stop orders?
The few.
The few. And who has, you know, Bentleys for their kids at age 15? You or me or them?
Them.
The few, right? So I'm not saying the market's rigged, right? But they do have a little bit more information. On a larger scale, they can play this game better. As long as you learn where you're supposed to be in a trend versus a bracketed market. In bracketed markets, you want to sell the highs, peak above the value, lose it, you want to sell it. A lot of people become, you know, initiative buyers at the wrong spots, and that's what hurts you guys. So now just let's take a look at this for a moment. I'm just gonna go here at SPY since a lot of you guys trade SPY. So take a look at SPY, for instance, here. This one's good. If you don't see a setup here within 15 seconds, I've done something wrong for a couple of months. I'm talking about this day is done. We opened on Friday. What is this telling you?
80%. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one.
No, you're looking at the right one. I mean, we're here. I want you to think about onwards from here to the right. You're above the value of the previous day. Is that correct? You opened above
Yep.
on this candle. So let me go in 5 minutes so you guys can see it. Okay, you opened above, right? Well, you opened inside and then you went above. And then look what happens, right? This was our value, guys. This is where responsive is expected to do what?
So.
And boy, did they sell. Did they sell. They sold really well. And now think about this. This is the value area low of this day where they had the gap down. Remember, they were not able to fill this gap that they tried. Remember, I think it was we shorted somewhere, if this is equivalent to 86 on ES, I don't know, right? The levels translation. But remember the 86 level on ES when I told you I'm short, I'm looking lower, and then they dumped it towards the late of the day. It might be here, but who knows. Anyways, they went above the value here. And then they peaked inside, right? They got inside, they gave you a decent retest, and then they sliced it, right? And the 80% rule played out pretty nicely, right? And then you see them here, you know, in a liquidation profile. So they spent 0 time inside this value. So now think logically, hey, previously we were interested somewhat trading in here. And if you look at this area was not that much volume before. I'm just going to highlight it. We didn't trade this day. We didn't trade this day. We trade and explore this area before. Did we like it on this day? Did we like this value area here?
No.
No, you dropped it.
Nope. You came to value area high perfectly here and you rejected it and you went to the value area low. You bounced and then you said, I can't agree on this value. Let's seek lower. And then you dropped and then you had this massive gap. And guess what? They're repeating the pattern again.
Yeah.
Right. So now you're coming here and you have a couple of values that are stacked there. I mean, you have a POC. Look at this. Value area, POC here, value low, value low. This one is value low here. So if you're to think that you want to short at this level or below, what do you think is going to happen to you? I would say this is probably not the best level to short. Now, if you draw the FVP,
Smoke.
look at this. If they can regain this, let's say they regain 604 tomorrow, what do you think they hit? They did the price discovery below, they went below the value and they quickly brought it. If they reclaim this, they give you this, guys.
This back up. Yeah.
Rocket.
Most likely it's going to be super fast because this value here was what? How much interest they had trading it?
Yeah.
None.
None. They won't have it again, right? So I would definitely watch that, right? So I would be interested to see how they play it, but I'm just covering the concept of value and buying below and up top. Then I use the footprints like I showed you guys. I go back and I'm looking are they selling here aggressively, but the price is not going lower? That's most likely what we talked about, the little balloon, right? As they're hitting market sells, okay, thank you. Market sells, but this balloon is not dropping. As they're filling this balloon, the other smart shorts, they close it, and then this balloon just goes whoop. Then that's in bracketed markets, right? In trending markets, right, it's a little bit different. Sometimes you don't get an opportunity to even get in a trade. And I've shown you guys when we gap up, sometimes, it becomes really difficult to find a level lately to go long, right? They just didn't give a lot of a retest. They just kept going. Like this day here, when you look at this Friday, where's the opportunity for us to go long? I mean, it's minimal.
Yeah, pretty minimal.
Your entries have to be almost like, perfect. And it
Mhm.
minimizes
Or
our
be long
ability
the
to
day
go.
before, right?
Well, I mean, to be a long on the day before, I don't think I would, I don't know if I would have swung longs here. You peaked above here, you're rejecting this value here. I wouldn't take that. And then, you're coming here, right? And then you sell off all the way below it. You didn't reclaim it. If they closed above it here, that would have been good. But the only good thing they had here is they closed above the POC, but it's not a very, like comfortable close. Remember, on lowercase b's,
the
you want to
gap up.
find that 50% of it. You want to know where's that 50%, and if they close above it, that b is usually, I'm sorry, lowercase b is, invalidated. If they closed above this level, yeah, sure. But, this was still a B over, shift in value. I wouldn't trust it. And of course, on this day here, I don't even know what day you make this out. I would say, no, I would not have swung long here. I don't know SPY levels. I don't know where ES was at that point, but I would not.
I think I took Q, but yeah, I guess I just got lucky. But I saw like the tap of value area low and took the long, and
Yeah.
then held it.
Yeah.
Shorty,
I mean, you
could
can't.
I ask a question real quick about something you talked about a second ago?
Yeah, of course, John.
You were talking about how just what was the day before yesterday that they traversed the value area real quick and got to the lower one, so that we would probably traverse it quickly again if we went for the POC up top. And so I guess that makes a lot of sense. Before you said that, I was thinking the opposite, and I was thinking, well, there was a lot of aggressive selling because it moved quick, so it would be harder to traverse it.
Yeah, I mean, you
So
would look, the only thing I would look for here on this candle particularly, I would tell you where the single prints are on this candle, right? So they're here. They're somewhere here, right? And in between, so they're probably somewhere around 60, 70, right? That you will have some aggressive, I would say, sellers. And I think when you look at the footprints, right, I can't disagree with you, right? So that's why I said the idea is if they can absorb these people right here, now take a look at that candle. I think it's this one here at 1040. Let's see. So 1040 here. Let's look at the 1040 candle. Now, when I look at the 1040 candle, this is where you can use a confirmation, and guess what?
you see the aggression. So you get
Yeah.
above 60, 63, 62.50, and that's when you can start.
I would say, yeah, that's where I'm looking to see, hey, can we catch this? And most likely it's gonna run. And then I look at the values, right? And you can go probably on the weekly now because to assess more. So let's look at the weekly for a moment. And now I would look to see, hey, what else do we have at that level? I would pay attention to like this overlap of this weekly and this POC, and look at that. What is that? Am I willing to play this game of, go long above this level right here and catch 10 points? Could you? Certainly. Would it work out with the high probability? Probably not.
It's risky.
Yeah. So I would want to see this, and then I can almost guarantee that I can catch 20 points. So I would play like this.
If they go above and retest.
Yeah. So take this, but this one here, they can do this right here, this trading that they did here, they did some here. It's not the trading that, I don't know, many of us prefer.
That's helpful. Thank you very much.
Mhm. Okay, so initiative, right? When you become familiar with the responsive, right? So responsive is basically they're selling above, they're buying below, just like they did here, right? So now if the responsive buyers come in tomorrow, they spend more time inside the value, that gives you a confirmation that the weekly 80% rule most likely will play out, right? So I'd watch for that, right? And can I take this long? Certainly, right? Would I size up here? Probably not. Maybe take 1, 2 ES and see if I can drive it, trim here and see how we behave. If I see aggressive sellers showing up again, I'm out, right? Until you can absorb that guy, give me a retest and I'll look for a long. But that would be initiative sellers. I'm sorry, responsive buyers here or initiative, and we'll find out tomorrow, right? And then above value, usually looking for responsive sellers to come in. Okay. As of right now, I would say there's a little bit of a slowdown in the auction, right? It's looking more and more like it's slowing down. I wouldn't say we're extreme bearish yet. We haven't started framing down, but here's your, the monthly profiles. Now you guys see why the 44.5 that I think I'll beat you guys to death with. Does everybody understand it? That 42 level?
Yeah.
Because if they crack that, there's potential for a trap too, right? Do you guys see that?
Yeah, because the POC is so
Yep.
close.
Oh yeah. Like this becomes a really good trap level, guys. So maybe, and you guys know that I like to draw equal stuff, something like this, like call it 20, maybe LVN here, 21.5 to 15. Becomes a dangerous zone because if they peak here, a lot of volume traders would be like, oh man, high chance now that we are targeting here. Well, they can do something like this and send it to the moon. And then you probably project, where are they going from here if that happens using fibs. Does the value make sense for the responsive initiative tool? Is there anyone that doesn't get it on the call?
Shorty, when you talked about the
Sense.
80% earlier, you're talking about the weekly, right?
Yeah, that was weekly, right? And I mean on
Okay.
daily, right? There's some potential setups for it as well.
Yeah.
Remember, the tighter the value area, the easier it is for them to traverse it.
Yeah.
So this value area is minimal. I think it's like 19, 20 points, 20 points.
Yeah.
So think about this tomorrow. I mean, you have the liquidity here that they haven't sweeped 39. So they could do something like this. I mean, that's not bad. I mean, that's pretty good actually. Would I take this? Yes. Because out of this, you could get a really nasty short cover rally here out of this lowercase b if it does not do what tomorrow?
Break above.
Break below. It needs to capitalize on that short. It really needs to capitalize on the selling. It needs to go lower tomorrow, below these two levels.
Yeah.
Okay. So that covers this, right? And if there's any questions on it, feel free to ask. Balance with imbalance. I think does everybody understand this now? I think I've given you a few examples. And you can find this, guys, I promise, as easy as you can find it many ways, whatever your heart desires. So look at this now. I'm gonna go on a weekly. Let's go on daily because might not be. I'm gonna go 1 hour.
5 minutes, you can find it all the time.
So look at this now. So we are in balance right here. I'm just gonna enable this. So you're in balance here, right? And you came back and you revisited the prior balance that was here. You came back, you're stuck in here for a little bit, and then you kept going up. Now you're in a longer balance on the top, right? then you're shifting. So from here you went up, but it's not really aggressive. I would say balances that they have. So here it seemed pretty aggressive. They dipped below here as well to another balance, and they dipped the low of it. That's good. Look at that. Perfect tap to the balance. Remember, we had these drawn, all of these boxes, and they went higher. Now they came back, middle of it, right, and going higher. But you see the auctions slowing down quite a bit, right? Even if you look at the candles and the spread between the candles, the size of the candles, it's slowing down. And look at the volume here for this Friday. Let's send this to the bottom. This volume is up, like right here. What is this? 1.9? 1.9 million contracts right here, and the candle is not that great, the body of it. So we would say the result, the effort, don't add up, right? So I would definitely watch this tomorrow, right? You got to lose this level, lose it, and then we have a chance. Picking up and selling, obviously, here, so. Okay, let me go back. So I think is everybody okay on this? Balance, imbalance, balance. You trade differently than imbalance. Balance, buy low, sell high, peak above and fails on value areas, on ranges. Imbalance, they have they have more risk, more reward. But you have to find opportunities to buy. Usually when you're running on imbalance stuff right here, like this is probably not the best imbalance, but let's take a look at it. Well, smaller time frame. If I look at this imbalance right now, from the bottom to the top, you can use HVNs, which I like using, right, when you're buying. So if I was to look, between this balance and here, where can I find the buy entry, right? And you don't extend it. You want to look for kind of the POC. So I'm looking at this, I look at the POC and, it's coming right to it. And that would be a high volume node kind of buy, similar to what we were expecting at the 1520 level that we just talked about briefly. And then I can also find between this low and this high, I can find where's the potential buy on that. Let's see how we do. So on this one, would this have worked? I mean, you would have been buying here at 24. It went to the value here about what, 35. So it probably would have worked, right? But not a lot of points. Then if I look at this swing high to the swing low, I could again look at the sell points and see where's the aggression coming in or where's the volume. And now you're seeing that, the volume is kind of sitting here. If you took that, you got stopped. And then from here to here, you have a massive trend. And this trend probably here is the best one. So if I look at this right here, look at that.
Yeah.
And that one, is done pretty good. So they would have tried to get you out this trade 4 points, but then they put in a high, quite a rip on that. Now you think about this selling from here to here, you're looking for the level, and look, they came right to that POC. They went below this, and now they're selling. And the same thing you could do, between this and this. And they're looking somewhere around, what is this, 81. So if they crack 61, most likely they go 81. So you could use these on the trends, right? You could use between the swing low and swing high, use these FVPs. I typically don't like to grab, and it doesn't change much. You can shift your POC, but I like to find a candle before the trend starts. So I don't grab this, I would say, balance in there. I'm only interested in the actual sell point. So if I go here and here, the sell point's kind of coming right here, right? Does that make sense? Does that make sense to all?
Yeah.
Okay. Balance to balance, so you guys have more to look there. Volume profile, we'll save that for another day. There's more stuff on the footprints that I wanted to touch base. Let's see. Okay. Is anyone not familiar with what this means? Like if you're to be given a picture like this, what does that mean?
The tape.
Yeah. So this would be, and you don't want to be confused with the depth of market, which is your DOM, and footprints. Is there a difference between the two?
Executed orders versus not executed orders yet.
That's correct, right? Your DOM is not executed orders. Your footprints are executed orders. And when you look at the DOM, a lot of you would probably be lost. And a lot of you guys might fall for some tricks. There's spoofing, there's iceberg orders, there's a lot of stuff that you guys would probably struggle with to decipher, hey, what's going on, right? I don't necessarily use DOM. I look at the L2 on my toss, but I don't necessarily rely on heavily on any of it, right? I just look to see if there's bid and ask, but not much beyond that. So I do use footprints to tell me the historical orders and how do we react to those levels. And that's what footprints are. So ask on the right, bid on the left. We cover the passive sellers, provides liquidity in the ask, right? Aggressive buyers take the liquidity from. So when you hit a market buy, somebody's limit selling to you, right? And you get an order match. And the opposite is true as well, right? Aggressive seller takes liquidity from the ask, because on the ask on the bottom, on the bid, I'm sorry, on the bottom, you have people sitting waiting to buy some orders. Like let's say you're waiting to buy Starbucks at 50, you put an order at 50 and you just wait till it gets filled. You would be a passive buyer at that point. And how it kind of works when you look at the DOM, right? In order for price to move down a level, these buyers need to be absorbed, right? Do the market orders show up here on the DOM? Do you guys see market orders on DOM?
No.
No, you can't see the DOM orders. These are just passive orders sitting there, right? The market are the one that move the up and down, right? So they're the only one that can move the market, because when you hit the market, that means I want to buy it at 100 right now, and you're immediately lowering this. Let's say you bought one share of AMD at 100. There was 75 available. Now it's 74 here. Until this 74 is eaten apart, what happens? We have to consume all of these 75 orders before price does what?
Move.
And it goes up to the next level and it's like, hey, how much do you have? And so on and so on, right? This is again just a breakdown of how that looks. Footprint charts is not a holy grail in terms of trading, right? I would say it's still contextual. You have to look at where's the price, how is it discovering, is it being accepted or rejected, and you want to trade with more context rather than isolated candles on footprints. The difference between the footprints, I would say, a lot of people get confused. Oh my God, it's so too much data. But just look at the candles, right? I mean, like if you look at this candle right here, for instance, let me see, what did I grab? If you look at this candle right here, oops, I picked the wrong thing. If you look at this candle right here, how do you know where's the highest POC on this candle? Like where's the most volume on this candle? How would you know on this?
You don't.
Excuse me, man, I just keep yawning. You have no idea, right? The footprints give you that, right? They break down the candle with the value area, they break it down with the volume, and it's telling you highest point of control is here. Is there any imbalances that candle had? And you can figure that out, right? And was there aggression, which means the imbalance? You'll be able to tell on this, and that's kind of, for instance, shown right here. In this case, there was imbalance here, and look, the imbalances, especially, I believe this is a daily this is a daily candle. They become really, really powerful, and you see how kind of magnetic, they come into the imbalance, and that's where you want to, if you're an ES trader and you're using daily for imbalances, can you play that as a day trade? You could. Could you lose? Yeah. You could not have a stop loss that's responsive enough or wide enough for you to manage the trade. Because you're a short-term trader, you cannot rely on a weekly imbalance because it might be like 40 points. 40 points on 50 per point is quite a few points. But could you play this with some options on SPX or SPY or whatever instrument you trade? Yeah, certainly you could definitely do that. You just buy more time, right? You're buying time to compensate for the action to occur. So that's where the dealers make money. In terms of delta, right? You guys hear me say delta. I don't want you guys to be confused with the Greeks delta. This is not a Greek delta on footprints. This is simply just the ask volume minus the bid volume. Like how many orders came in at ask versus bid, and that tells you, you know, if it's ask minus bid, that would be the green delta, right? It would be plus +1. Red delta shows aggression from sellers, right? And you also have anomalies, right? And somebody brought it up actually. It was it Tom or was it you, John? I'm not sure who it was. There was an anomaly on like I think it was like 1 minute candle. Somebody brought it up. Excuse me, I think I'm ready for bed. Where we were going much higher, right? And the delta was really, really bearish, and the next candle was bearish. That could be the result of what? If you're not making lower lows and you're at a key support level, and all of a sudden you have this massive red delta and the price goes higher, what could be the result of?
Market bias.
And why would somebody market buy? Could be that
Because
they're,
they were
remember this,
anticipating that it was going to go up quickly.
those stop loss orders that you guys have, if you're shorting something, gets converted to what type of order?
Market
When it's
orders.
executed, it
Market.
gets converted.
A buy.
Yes. Yeah, it becomes a market buy. So those show up on the ask side. So then they just keep buying, 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 even though eventually first they started to sell it, but you know, the smart shorts closed it because they're at a key support and other people piled in, and that's how you usually get these divergences. Do divergences tend to play out? I would say yes, but you have to contextually understand. If you're at a major support, let's say we visit that, what was it, 57 level, 57.40. Excuse me, you see a massive red delta there on a candle, on 30-minute candle, and prices not going below. I wouldn't take that as negative, like a negative bearish stance. It could be that, you know, we had a lot of sellers coming in with market sells, but there was a massive buyer, maybe let's call it iceberg buy at that level. So as their market selling, they're just buying. Their limit buying the market sells, therefore it's going to show up what? Negative delta, right? Red delta, right? So it would be ask minus the bid. So if they're selling, right, at the bid, which is what market sell means, you're trying to get rid of it now. That means you're going to take the highest bid that there is. It might not be the ask that you want. Therefore, that's how, you know, the absorption happens too. Okay. Does that make sense? Is there any questions on this? Okay. So there's, you know, the price statistics or histogram on the bottom that I use. So delta just shows you the difference, right, between buyers and sellers, what we had above. Volume is the total number of contracts. So if I go back to go here, not gonna save anything there. If I go here and you guys see here, I have volume. That's the number of contracts. Delta, that means the closing delta of the candle. The max delta at point in time on that candle, what was the max delta? Well, the max delta was -19, so it was never in a positive territory. Does that make sense? And now when you look at the min delta, it was -329, so they did buy it a little bit. Does that make sense? The lowest was -329, the highest was this, but where do we close? Would this be a bullish or bearish look to you?
Bullish.
So at one point, you had max delta was -19, and you closed on -329 at the high of the candle. You guys would buy that?
Look there.
it's not a perfect scenario to buy. And remember, I said context, right? I'm baiting you to think on a candle. Context says that, most likely it's not an opportunity for you to buy right here. You had some aggressive sellers show up, you're inside the balance, right? You want to establish value above it, go above it, and then it would be a good buy because that might be used as support. But here, you do not want to buy. It does not agree, and your cumulative delta is a negative 10,000, right? So it's obviously the market's selling, and then it was not selling as aggressively, but as the price came in and closed at high end, aggressive sellers showed up again. Okay. So that covers these, right? And there's divergences, and I have them here. If the 1 point max delta was positive, so I'm giving you a couple of scenarios that you guys can kind of read through and make sure that you can relate it back to a chart. So I suggest you guys look at it. High volume areas, I would say this is pretty important because this is one of the ways we can find the support and resistance. Is there any questions on this? Because we covered this pretty well.
I guess, yeah, I have one question on it. Just like, what kind of time frame do you find the high value node on?
30 minutes.
Okay.
Always.
And
I mean, if I'm scalping, I mean, it's different, right? I'm not gonna go heavy on 5 minute, double stack.
Right.
Like it doesn't warrant that type of, I would say, trading.
Mhm.
So if it's a double stack like here, if they come back and revisit this, that's not a bad level to take. Right. So I usually use 30 minutes for analysis on footprints.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then how do you use it when you're actually trading? Are you on the 5 minute looking at what
I'll look
you?
for 5 minutes. Yeah, I'll look for 5 minutes. I'll draw the zone as you guys have seen me do it. I'll look at this. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see. If you get inside of this, and then I flip to 5 minutes, I'm looking to see if I can spot any buyers or sellers, coming to that level. If I see, for instance, here we peak above, when we went above it, I'm seeing aggressive sellers coming in. That's most likely indicating that there's other time frame participants coming, selling above that level, looking to drive it lower, and then I would get in, right? So I'm looking to get in, I would say, with the bigger boys, get out with the bigger boys as well.
Okay, so you analyze like previous day or like prior days imbalances or HVNs, and then you see how it reacts on the current day.
That's correct. Yeah. And I typically, if it's a nice, let's say we come in, on a 30-minute here, could I take this on the first tap? Yeah. If it's not a visited HVN, I'll take it on the first tap. If it's been visited before, then I don't like to take it on the first tap.
Gotcha. And then sometimes these imbalances and HVNs get created on the current day as well and revisit them too, and you take that on the
That's
first
correct.
tap.
That's correct.
Perfect. Thank you.
That's correct. So that covers the high volume areas, right? And this is one of the two ways you can find support resistance. It's this plus the imbalances, right? And some rules that I really don't like counter trading the imbalance. And if you guys think about here, would I be counter trading the imbalance here if I was to go long?
Yeah, but it's just been created recently, right?
Yeah, it's been created and it's 5 minutes. So I wouldn't necessarily scalp long here, if that makes sense. I'd scalp long once they go above and come back, then I'll take a long.
I see.
But you do not want to counter trade the imbalance at least. When you do see, the imbalances, you want to see some decent numbers, right? So like this here is pretty good, right? And there's a lot of instances where the imbalances are like 0 and 2s and 1s, especially if they happen to, sweep the book in the middle somewhere of a candle. I'm looking for some if I see, and it becomes really not trustworthy, right? So if you look here, 41.37, that's not bad. And then you have a big one here at 134. So yeah, sure, you can trust that. But in some instances, you have it where it's like 2, 3, 4, and I just honestly don't even bother looking at them. And that's relative to a time frame that you're on. If you're on 5 minutes, it might be different than on 30 minutes, what you see. But you want to get familiar with, what are you looking at? If it's 5 minutes and you're seeing onesies and twosies, I wouldn't pay much attention to those imbalances. But these, like right here, that one's pretty decent imbalance, right? So this one's pretty good. I would definitely have that one, pointed out. And I believe we have this one on higher time frames too, because this is the large one that we had, if you guys remember.
Does your platform not automatically mark those?
It does sometimes. I don't know why it doesn't do for others, right? Seems like sometimes it's picking up, like this one has 4, but this one has 3. But I see them. I don't miss them that much. Okay. I would say for me, the Ninja Trader, when I'm trading on it, is probably the best in terms of highlighting them. You can use Quantower. I have Ninja Trader. I use Sierra Chart. I use, well, this is older. TD or Thinkorswim. They don't necessarily have the footprint charts. They have market profile. But I'm hearing Schwab is going to work on implementing something. So I don't know if it's true or not. Okay. Here's all the guidelines that I use on footprints. So if you guys ever question, like, what do you use? How do you use it? So this is kind of pointing here, right? Statistics in Quantower, this is telling you how do you set it up. And you guys can go through this and go through the setup of how to get all of this. And then it shows you imbalances, imbalances on daily, zoom in on the imbalances and kind of highlighting the examples of what it looks like and the things to pay attention to in terms of volume, the delta shift, and all of those things. You guys are certainly welcome to go through this PowerPoint to go through it. Absorption of footprints, you can definitely look at that. Absorption, you want to think about, a market sells coming into limit buys and then market buys coming into the limit sells. And then if price is not able to negotiate higher, that usually is, the sign that something's coming to an end. Let's see if I'm missing anything from here. Unfinished auctions, that just means, right, if you don't have a 0 on the top or bottom, right? So like this one had a proper auction on 5. I usually don't care too much on auctions on 5. I don't put too much weight on it. On 30 minutes, you can certainly do that, right? You can carry some weight on 30 minutes, see if the auctions are being completed or not. That's I would say the market standard for most people. They use 30 minutes to find out if the market's having an auction that's completed or not. So if you go here, you will see, for instance, that this auction completed nice. It was 0 at the top. The auction, this one was not done. So I wouldn't be surprised if they come in, sweep above this at open at 6 p.m. and then maybe that gives us a short opportunity.
Does it matter what side the 0's on?
Well, at the top, where should the 0 be?
On the bid?
Yeah, on the bottom should be at the
ask.
Yeah, you got it.
So an auction is assumed complete when there's a 0 either on the top or bottom then of a 30-minute candle.
That's correct, College.
Are there cases when the 0 is on the wrong side or on the other side?
You will never have, I don't think you'll see many 0s flipped on the top unless you find some. That'd be cool.
Gotcha. Thanks.
I think logically, is that possible?
No, you can't have a buyer without someone selling.
Thank you. Yeah.
That makes sense. Thanks.
Yeah, I can't buy something from you if you're not selling it, and vice versa. I can't sell to you if somebody's buying. Somebody posted, I think it was Juan, somebody was selling an Escalade the other day. I saw it. I just laughed my ass off. Somebody was selling an Escalade for $190,000. I don't know what platform he was on. I just laughed. You guys really think somebody's going to go sell it for $190,000 Escalade?
There'll be a $35,000 reduction pretty soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe for charity.
Yeah, could be. Okay. So that covers that piece. So
Someone buys that
unfinished.
Escalade, it's definitely charity, all right. It's a gift to that seller.
So when I think about footprints and where to use them, right? Like at least what levels have my interest. You want to think about the market itself, right? You want to use them at mainly at the critical levels of, shift, right? So like 47 to 40, probably a good spot to initiate and start looking at that because that was our previously November value area high. It's also a structural support and resistance. A lot of people look at this, right, and are like, oh my God, this is the SR flip. They're not wrong, right? And this is previously, held high. And now we're looking to see, are they going to hold this, right? So you're trying to see, are we going to get responsive buyers to defend this and proceed higher and stay in that penthouse type of deal here in terms of value? Or do we crack this and we start looking, for your value? Do we go lower? So that's where I usually, but I look at footprints a lot, right? I look at them all day. But those are the areas that you want to kind of pay attention to, the key junctions on the chart. Stops. So here's your stops. Usually, you will, if they're running long stops, you will have 0 at the ask and then all on bid, and that be vice versa on the opposite side. Usually this happens when you have a dual tape, right? When people come in too short or too long. So you guys will hear me sometimes say, are we net long or net short intraday? And I think there was a couple of instances, right, that we had that, right? So we went here, and if you guys think about it, they came in here and they accumulated for a little bit. Most likely there was some stop runs here between 12:30 and 1. And if you go on charts, you could definitely look, right, see 12:30 to 1. It will have to be somewhere around here. And if you look, I would think that they got somebody here. Right here. So in this area, I would expect that they got somebody pretty good. And usually what they do is they make you think we're going one way and then they deliver the pain. The opposite, that's just showing on stop front side. Here, let's see. How soon is it? Updates. Oh, give it a second. Okay. Here I gave you guys a couple of examples of how I think we actually took this trade a while back. It's not bad to kind of review it, see it, and then if you have questions, you're welcome to ask. Exhaustion on the tape. This is actually what I talked about. Remember earlier I said usually you have a skewed, you have a shallow zone and then you have a high volume node. So like if you look at this tape right here, and this will be not visible on your footprint charts, this would most likely be on your DOM or some order entry, live entry order flow that you're using. If you see something like this, they're just going to fly through all the way to about 105, 106 area because there's not a lot of orders. There's a lot of pent up, limit buys right below. And usually, once they smell the blood and they see the weak ask, they usually kind of go after it. Okay. What else can I help you guys on footprints or answer?
It's helped a lot. I think my biggest issue with it was I just wasn't using other time frames besides the 5 minutes on the footprints.
Oh, do not do
I
that.
was doing the same.
Yeah, thank you for that. Because, I mean, it's really new for me, right? I just got Quant Tower like a month ago, and it's just something I didn't really understand. Because when I'd watch you stream, for some reason I had either only seen or only thought I'd saw you on 5 minutes, and I thought you would switch to looking at the bigger picture on TradingView with like 30-minute candles or something. So this helps me a lot understand how to get into those plays that are going to take, because I like taking the plays that are going to be an hour or two over the course of the day, bigger moves. And I was trying to get in and without getting kicked out early. And either I would get kicked out early, like I said, because either I'd feel my stop was too close, or I wouldn't get a good entry that I thought was a good entry based off of what I thought I had learned properly, but I just wasn't looking on a larger time frame at the footprints as well.
Yep, no, it makes sense. I mean, you have to be in the right time frame, I would say, right? And if you're using 5 minutes for, something longer, that's probably not right. You want to zoom out, look at 30 minutes and kind of scan to the left, and then also come back and be like, okay, well, I see where they are aggressive sellers. Maybe you see a buying imbalance, or you see an HVN that you can spot on the footprints. And then, the second question I always ask, how could they get me out of that trade? If I was to take this, how can they get me out? And then if I see how they can get me out, and based on previous patterns, I'd probably look to buy something on a retest, right? Because a lot of times if you buy it straight up on the first tap, sometimes they go through your stop loss and then they come back. And let's say if you're limited to one trade per day or whatnot, then you're like, oh shit, it would have worked if I would have just, been a little bit more patient.
Yeah.
So yeah. How about we take a 5-minute break? I just need to use the bathroom, get some water, and then we do this.
The delta that you usually have on the right side.
Say it again.
Do you think you could talk about the delta that you usually have on the right side of your chart?
Yeah. So usually on the right side of the chart, and here now on the left. So I usually keep the right. That's why today is showing blank. But if I go here and I show previous week, I usually show my delta on the right here, and this one usually stays on a day just so I can see what's happening, so I don't have to keep drawing the cumulative FVP delta. On the left, I usually have something bigger, right? So I usually would go like previous month. Sometimes I would go full chart range, and full chart range means just whatever you see on the chart, kind of like your VRVP on TradingView. And I do that because it does create liquidity pockets, right? And you guys will see, sometimes you'll see a high delta here and nothing in between. So if I crack this level, typically they're going to fill that. And that's usually when we see those orders that come in with zeros and ones. And I say, if you're not in early, you're most likely not going to get it because it happens so quick, especially if you're trading NQ. On NQ, when they have those, pockets, I would say, of liquidity like this, they become really, really fast the way they move. They just pop higher and lower and they just go whoop and they fill everything here rather quickly. So I keep that on the right just to see where the aggressive buyers or sellers came in. If I see a lot of aggressive buyers, well, here for instance. So you see here on the right, there's some massive orders sitting at 96, right? I mean, we're talking about, it looks like 30,000 contracts at this level. So now if I was to zoom and kind of look at the orders, that's where, I would find where is that coming in. And look at this candle here alone. There's only one that's not triple digits here. It's right here. So this candle carries a lot of volume, and then you see even bigger volume being concentrated right here. Like this is the HVN of that candle, right? So I'll most likely be like, okay, well, I see that this is potentially a good entry for a short, but it looks like, they might extend that, right? So they might go push above, and then once they lose that, I feel comfortable shorting it. Does that make sense? At least that's how I use it. And then you see here, for instance, 75. I mean, and this one, those are the pockets of liquidity I'm talking about. Massive orders here. So if you go above 75, most likely you're going to hit this. So let's say I'm shorting this here. Well, I don't know if I was shorted, right? Maybe I was shorted here if there was another HVN and there's a little bit more volume. But once they reclaim this level and a poor high chance they're going to run it to here. So at least I would keep an eye on what does that look like in terms of every day. Like you see here now at this level where we are, there are some contracts here about $8,000, 8,000 contracts being released here on the sell side. So if we come up here again, might not be worth, it might be worth a short, right? Or let them go above, grab the liquidity, let them maybe clean this up. And then maybe you can short somewhere in here on a higher node, but then you have a lot of high volume nodes. So I'd personally wait for a higher probability trade, lose it, and then you can drive it lower, probably to 40s. So I use it as a magnets intraday on that right side. On the left side is, obviously you can't accumulate that much volume in a single day. So this was massive, I guess, limit buying here, and then they did it again.
That makes sense. So essentially, they're liquidity pockets, is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
That's exactly it. I mean, those are the orders that executed, and especially if they leave like poor highs, poor lows, they tend to come back and fix them. Peak above and fails, then you can play the trade, right? If you have a massive, let's say we had those two, so I'll go back to them. So let's say, you know, they had a poor high somewhere in here, which they don't. Let's say they had a poor high, they come back and they fix it. Well, I would short it, quickly scalp, you know, for 5 points. And typically I would not say anything about, you know, if I'm trading live, I wouldn't get you guys in for 5 points quick trade because it might be quick. There's nothing in between here.
And you would see that delta shrink live too, right?
Yeah, exactly. It prints as you trade. Okay. All right, guys. I'm just gonna step away 5 minutes. I'm gonna leave the stream on, and we'll come back, and then we'll go ahead and do the stock scan. I have that up already, so I'll just take 5 minutes, and we'll hop back on.
Thank you, Shorty.
All right.
Thank you.
Alright guys, I'm back. So you guys are as well?
Yes, sir.
Let's see. Alright. You wanna scan some bottoms, right? Some people that got the life and got the clouds, you guys need help with any of it? You're always able to find how to load it, change it. So that's a yes.
Took a little bit, but I think I got it all figured out on how to make the different ones.
Yeah, so I'll show you guys. So if you're running on the scan, right, and hopefully you guys know how to import it. I did post a video for you guys how to do that. If not, just let me know. We can, I think it's under setup, open shared item, and then go from there, paste the link that I gave you, and then I'll pick it up. And then you'll have it under scans, right? And here, this is your preference, right? So the stock, the ask is 20 is the minimum. If you want to mess around with something less, sure. This is the custom one that's basically helping us find the stuff that's on the bottom of the monthlies. And this is where you would change what do you want to find. I want quarterly. Let's say I want to find yearly bottoms, which is probably going to be one or two. So here's stuff here, right? American, some stuff here, right? We can take a look at them. But you would find it here by changing, right? And then study here. A lot of people that run these scans and toss, they just use simple study. I like that. I like to see volume consistently bigger than a certain number. Like lengthwise, I wanted 3 months over 500,000 shares. So that's why I do that. I mean, you can definitely change it and you would get a bunch of those illiquid stocks. And for long term, I don't care for it. But if you guys are interested in it, you can definitely, I would say, change that. So, okay. And then let me bring up this screen.
It does not open the stock if you click on it, right?
This here, if I click on it,
Right.
yeah, you can set it up. Yeah.
Oh,
You can
okay.
set it up.
I couldn't figure that out, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So if you do, sometimes I do it. Sometimes it's just depending on the window, right? So if you add, you have to create bottom left custom watch list. So let me see. So you will get this screen here. Let me see if I can attach it. Oh, here we go. I just don't know where it went. Yeah, here. So if I look at this, this is the custom watch list, right? So if you go here, you'll be able to change the name, right? I think this one here. Let me see. If I click here, I can click create a name and I can tie it to this one. So let's see. Let's see. So let's see. Well, this one would work well if I can tie it. Let me see if that exists. No, a scan query. Nope, you have to do it this way. So then I would have to create a watch list and pick it up from here. And then I would have to link the chart. Do you know how to link charts?
I'm brand new to the platform,
Oh,
but
okay.
so
So,
I'll watch some videos on it.
So let's see. Let me delete this one. Let me go on flexible grid. I don't mind doing a class on this. It's not that difficult. It looks intimidating more than it is. So here you would have a little bit of. You would have. Let me see if I can move it. Yeah, you see these little colors that you have.
Yes, sir.
So if I click, let's say, sure, this 9, I don't know, it's linking to something. I have no idea what it's linking. So I'll link it to purple. Here's ES. So when I go here, I want to link this to a 5. So if I click it, you see how it's changing. And then the next thing we have to do is pick this, and I have to find Shorty kelp bottom. Is that what I'm using? So now we're able to do this. I'll just have to configure this one to use the sector as well. And this one up. Move. And we're gonna do that. And then we're gonna sort by the sector. And let's say now we're gonna run this one on the monthlies. And it should work together, right? So let me see, I'm on the sector. Let's move this. So boil. Not sure why is it not. Okay, let's see if it's gonna populate. I don't know why is it not doing it. Some reason it's not. I'll find it and I'll send it to you. There's a way I get lucky here and there on how to do it, but you can definitely link them. I typically did. It was maybe not doing something right. All right, so let's talk about this one. Let's talk about the stock scan. So as you guys know, you do have the clouds, right? And I've shared it with you guys. I'm sorry. I did share this with you guys, whoever got it. So if you click on here, you can definitely change the settings. So if you click on this,
I'm about to
you
get up
can
in a
click
little
on,
bit.
if you click on the 4-hour cloud, you can change it to be the monthly or whatnot. So let's say I choose quarterly here, and I can click this apply. Now the 4 hours is going to be gone, and you can change the preferences. You need a little bit more to move to the right. So let's say this is pretty big. I don't know why is it doing that. So you see now you have the names of the clouds. It's showing you there the daily, the weekly, bottom, and most of the time I don't really care for daily too much on longer term. But let's just say we are gonna go on the weekly and look at stuff. So here's, for instance, ES, right? You guys see that we are at the weekly top, the monthly top is sitting right here. So I'm able to kind of scan through it. And then here are the stocks that are showing up to be on the bottom of, I think we said monthly. Monthly, yep. So we're scanning the monthly bottoms. So the first one that we know that's coming up is fall. So this one is coming up to a level that we liked it last time, and I think this is energy, right? And I don't know if I would not mind adding some haul here. So I'll put that one on my list here. I'm actually gonna add a new tab here because I feel like I scroll a lot. Let's see, 12:15. And I think we made some money on this one already a few times, but I'm gonna watch to see if it taps like 2809. And that would be a good level to initiate along between 2009 and 2120, 2820. So I'll watch to see what they do here, right? And if you guys look at the longer trend, right? So it came back here. So if they lose below 26, it has long ways to go, right? And it doesn't seem like buyer showed up. So if you get 28, you're risking about 2.5. I would definitely have a stop limit on this just because the quarterly bottom is far. I would keep that. SLB, I've seen this talk before. Yeah, this one is probably ready for. Yeah, this one is ready probably for an explosion higher, guys. Seems like all the energy stocks are. I like energy here, guys. This one's pretty good. SLB. If you guys see any, Murphy, somebody mentioned it last time. Oh, wow. This one looks good, guys. Murphy, this looks pretty good. Is there bad news with this one? You guys see how they hit the monthly and a quarterly top and it just collapsed? I like this one a lot. Probably say favorite. I'll probably go with this one. Dino, I don't know what this is. Then we go into materials, and if you guys see something you like, cream. UPS is on that list. We already have UPS. UPS is getting prepping for an explosion, guys. Actually, let me just check something on UPS here. Just changing the settings on the other screen real quick. Yeah, this one's setting up, guys, really nice. I really, really like this. And the weekly clouds closed on the bottom. If they offer us 122, guys, I'm gonna go into some calls on this. Yeah, UPS is looking really, really good. Yeah, well, definitely. I have some shares on this. I think my average is good. I'll potentially look at some calls on this, guys. Nike, I think we're familiar. Honda, let's see what are they doing? Assuming they pay dividends, yeah, they do. Man, this is a good deal, guys. I like this. I'm just taking some notes. Okay. Let's see. Cover this one. Orders, that's Dave and Buster's. Play. Oh god. This is actually a pretty good setup, guys, for a long. I didn't even know they're public. They make money. Check real quick. Yeah, I'll pass. Our pizza. Is anyone long pizza still? It had a nice pop, guys. I mean, it popped 61, but I think this is still pretty good. Like pizza, GPC. Oh, this one's good. I like
I think
GPC.
KJ has a hot seat.
I like this, guys. I really like this. Wait, I think he was there last time, yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you can get this on the bottom, that's great, but this is not a bad dollar cost average. Like this one a lot. I don't know what this. Oh, Five Below. I've heard of that. Grocery outlet. Celsius. I think you guys have it. I have it. I think we might have scalped the bottom on this, guys. Let's see if it's holding. Yep. This one's not a bad ad. Very good ad on that one. MDLZ is the one that that's buying, I think Hershey or something like that. But I wouldn't buy it. EL Estee Lauder. Wow. Wow. What did these people do? Oh, makeup. I think I've seen it in my wife's bathroom. This is a really good level, guys. Well, it's just that it's below the quarterly. I think this is not bad. 374 to 70. Wow. Is this liquid on shares? That's what we gotta find.
That was a monster dump.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's. You guys not using makeup? KJ, Ashley, nobody? Guys, stop.
Yeah, their perfume is awesome.
Well, I'm gonna need you guys to buy more of it.
Yes,
So
please
when
buy
you see
Alta too.
something like that, when you see something like that, do you then go into the like trade and view and look at their like cash
Yeah.
flow and balance
Yeah,
sheet?
of course, yeah. I was just looking at it right now. So I didn't know what they were for a moment. So I'll look here to see what's going on, and it seems like they've been losing a little bit, on their revenue growth. They're not growing as fast, but then I look at the reasons why. There's some cost cutting. Yes, their income growth is bad. I mean, look at their EPS. Something happened. I'll have to ask my wife. Something happened with them.
Nobody's buying. I don't have money for that.
Do you pay a lot of attention to EPS, or are you looking more at their profit, revenue?
No, I look at
and
their
balance
cash, man.
sheets?
I care about cash. Do they make cash? Do they make money? See, I mean, their operating cash flow is starting to flip here. So they had some kind of restructuring going on here. I don't know what, without looking maybe a little bit at 10K report, but I would read 10K report on this. They had a purchase, right? You see this sale? They sold something here. So I don't know what they sold. I don't even know how to spell it. Let's see. Sells. Let's see. So here they bought something. Oh, so that was their Tom Ford acquisition, $2.8 billion.
No clue they had bought Tom Ford.
Yeah. So I mean that's big. Tom Ford actually has good colognes. I like them. So this one, I really like the point to buy.
They have a dividend?
Yeah, nice dividends too. They have a decent dividend.
I own a hair salon. I should know about this stuff.
Your hair salon, you would never see me there. Hmm. I think they pay dividends here. Annual 140, pretty low, but I mean they dropped it, but they usually at 60 cents. Seems like they dropped it a little bit. Hence the sell-off. Yeah, you see this drop? It's a pretty massive drop. Well, I like it. I mean, I like buying stuff when it's bloody, so you guys probably know that by now. Yeah, this is gonna bounce. God, that's a massive drop.
What is the cause of someone dropping their dividend?
Cash flow. Cash flow is
They don't
usually,
have enough, so they can't pay they need to
Yeah.
keep the cash.
yeah. If their revenue is not growing, which it wasn't, but I'm just looking. I'm doing all my analysis real quick on it. This might, yeah, this is becoming pretty good. Oh man.
Isn't it a thing where they'll like try to raise their dividend to try to get people to try to come into it
Yeah,
and buy more?
attract. Yeah, of course, but those are dangerous stocks. Somebody bought a bunch. I forgot the name of the company. It was like giving $15. So for instance, here's the Estee Lauder volume profile. This is like their old time. All right, now let's zoom in a little bit. So if we look just from here to here, let's see where they are. And how's this? For a push to 132, Shorty's on this Monday. I'll be buying this. I'll read the report tonight.
The what report?
The 10K report. Like that tells you more about their business, what their strategy is, like what are they trying to do. Then it gives you their a little bit more in details, everything, financials and so on. So here, like you can see the 8K report, here's the quarterly report. So if you go here, you can read the financials, but then they also have some textual stuff that you might want to read. So here's this. See this restructuring programs, very organized, right size. So they're restructuring. I told you that looked like a typical restructuring. So yeah, I definitely will look into this one a little bit more. All right, where are we?
Need a whole education course on learning how to understand all that stuff well.
Yes. Yeah, the financials are not that bad. I mean, the other stuff is more common. Did anyone buy backs last time? You guys told me about it. Somebody brought it up. Let me remember. I actually have it. Wow. Guys, this is really good. Like, this is a no-brainer here. Yeah, this one is a no-brainer. Maybe increase the size a little bit. Yeah, this one looks solid. And look at the divergences on buying on the bottom on the MACD. Yeah, this one's good. Solid. CVS. They're still here. CVS is optionable. That looks good, guys. And I think they pay dividends. Let's see. CVS. Pretty sure they do. Oh man, their dividend yield, guys, is almost 5.5%. Oh man, CVS is oof. I'll get this. I like this. I just don't know much about the space. I'm not that educated about like those RX and stuff. I know they stopped selling cigarettes, or was that another company? But this is at a good spot. I really, really like CVS. Okay, I like that. If I see something let me know. I don't know much about healthcare, honestly. I'm like, I know about this one, or I feel like I've seen this sticker before. Holy shit, I did, yeah. Wow. Oh my God. It went $1,200. It's gonna bounce here, but a lot of you guys are probably like, hell no, $750 a share. Wow. What a monster. That's crazy. I remember it being around here. Obviously, I had some levels. Pfizer, I think we know that one. Can show you guys Pfizer in case you're interested. It's a monthly bottom and quarterly bottom. Our target's 51. Okay. Information technology, TBC, so they're out. Oh wow. But this one's gonna pop. Why did I think they were bankrupt? Maybe for some other reason. Yeah, they're not growing. They don't pay dividends, no interest. ENP, this is the stock that we covered like 45,000 times. I believe this is the solar. This is not solar. Let's see what they do. Yeah, it's solar. Well, ask Dirty what he thinks about it. There's a guy in our Discord that's actually works for one of the biggest companies in the world for solar. One. This is a really good level, guys. I like this. If you guys know more about it, you can speak up. Don't be shy. like MPH. Allegro, ALGM. What did these do? ALGM. They were growing really well, and then they took a back seat here. A little bit of rest. I mean, it's not a big company. Just right about $1 billion. I don't know, not that. MCHP. What in the world is this? What is this? Went to the monthly, finished the monthly. MCHP. Man, they're losing. They just went back to 2020. What did they do? I don't know. Man, I can't. RCI. Heard of this? Isn't this popular? Am I on still, or are you guys just shy, or what the hell? RCI.
Yeah, you're on.
You guys are just too quiet. Yeah, I wouldn't justify buying that just yet. Looks like it's below value for since 2007. They pay dividends, that's a different story. Oh wow. They pay dividends on this. It's actually not bad. They're steadily growing too. I like it. I'll have to look to see what they do. I've never heard of them. I've heard of them. Oh, okay. Wireless cable. They do a lot of Canada. They do a lot of stuff in Canada. RCI.
They used to be a counterpart of AT&T.
That's
Long
what I
time ago.
remember, but I can't. Just don't remember. I don't know much about them, but I like it. I really like it here.
It's a major Canadian wireless provider. They used to mirror AT&T, and then they bought out AT&T share. I think they're now independent.
You guys remember this one? NVIDIA inverse. It's at a big level, but I'm not touching this. I lost like $26,000 on this trade. I was up too, so.
No stop loss.
Yeah, I took a hit on this one, but I'm not. This is 5x, but I don't recommend this for a lot of new people. If you're not familiar, don't trade leverage stuff. But so that would be all the monthly bottoms, guys. I mean, so there's a handful of stocks, right? So I was just taking some notes. This is all our 1215. I really like the energy sector. I probably like this one here the most. MUR, UPS. I really like calls for June of next year. So I'll do that. June next year, 160, 170 calls. I really like them. Backs, I think this is very good spot. I mean, you can sell this to sell at 142. That's really not, that's not bad, guys. Like 30-40%. CVS, this is a long-term hold. NPH, I think this is not bad level to expose a little bit solar. Good long-term. And then RCI, I mean, if you're a dividend stock player, I like this for dividends. They've been growing too, so it's almost like as I guess as if you're buying AT&T. And we bought AT&T, if you guys remember, somewhere around here. I think it was 13 something here, 13.8ish, 7 maybe. And we're coming probably here to the top 25, and then we'll see what happens. But this was a solid buy, and it looks identical as RCI. So look at this. Doesn't it look like similar chart? So here's that, and here's this. Very similar charts. A peak, sell, and now you're below the, the 3 months value here, right at it, peak below, and then we can go ahead and run. So I like this one. Yeah, not bad. Okay. Any other tickers you guys want to see?
Could you please take a look into Occidental, OXY?
Yep, I actually have some of that. Oof, yeah, it's coming up to a level that's pretty good, man. So it's coming up. So, oof, man, it's coming good. I mean, 46 to 44. That's good. And they're bouncing at the monthly bottom. You see how they trapped some people here, and this is weekly bottom. This is going to bounce to about 58 by March. So
Did you take a look at Hasbro?
is that HAS?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Did we have this? Let me see.
Yeah, we scanned it a couple of months ago, and it shot up.
Well,
It's
holy
good
shit.
dividend too.
Hold on. Let me see my long term. Do we have has? Yeah, we had has. Where's it in my portfolio? Wow, that's good. So we had like 65 key level, and then it popped. That's not bad. I mean, right now you do not want it to lose 60. If it does, it's going to 48. That would be a key level I'm watching. HSY, I believe, is Hershey. Look at the Hershey bounce on the news. You guys think it's incidental or something happens at the monthly bottom all the time? It's just crazy. You completed a whole weekly cycle from the weekly bottom to the top in one candle. Wait for this one for 145.
That's the Mondelez news, right?
Yeah.
Can you check DRV?
DRV. This looks like it's leveraged, is it?
Yeah, it's a bear, yeah.
I mean, it's bare for what? Real estate?
Yeah, for real estate, yeah.
Man, it's at a big level. I don't know if I would short this and buy long this. Unless CREs pop. Yeah.
And then I
What
think
else?
TLT is also at a buy.
If it's at 90s, probably. Man, if they give us 85 on this, guys. I mean, you guys see why we're stuck here, and you see the levels that are playing. They're basically just playing the levels top to the bottom, and you see them hitting. It's congested. So, you know, if it hits 185, probably not a bad buy. Once it clears 106, guys, do you see much stopping it?
Be a rocket.
It's just gonna be a rocket, and that would mean what for the market?
Was it bull runs over?
Potentially, yeah. So I'll keep an eye on it. I was watching Oracle for the longest, but they're just out of my price range now. They're good here at 102. Now they're doubled. Not bad short on Oracle here. So I'll definitely watch that. Okay, if you guys don't have anything else, I think that would be it for me. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your Sunday. It's kind of cloudy, rainy here, so I'm not sure what we're gonna do with my ninjas, but I'll post an update. Hopefully you guys got some of the key levels for trading, but I'll be live on tomorrow as well, so hopefully we can get some good stuff. But I'll post my thoughts in Shorty's Corner for people that weren't able to watch this and don't want to spend an hour and a half watching it. So I'll write it up.
Thank you, Shorty.
All right, guys.
Sweet.
Have a good one. Bye.
Thank you. Late, Shorty.